Welcome, everybody, to Next Gen Leadership. I'm your host, Jimmy Ryan. Today we have Don Getling on. Say what's up.
What's up, Jimmy? Good to be in the
What's up?
house.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right to it today. We're going to talk about culture, and we're going to talk about it wherever you sit in leadership. You might lead a team, you might lead a branch, you might lead a region, whatever that is. Next Gen Leadership is about people that are leaders currently or aspire to be leaders and want to get better. And culture is a big thing, and I would argue it's probably one of the most important reasons why people will be recruited. We were just talking briefly about recruits. But also be retained, and it goes deeper than that too. It's like how do files flow through your system? What's the teamwork? What's the synergy? Are people actually on the same team, or are people working against each other? And I think that culture is a big thing with that. And man, we have a lot of places to go with this, but I would say,
Right?
how would you open us up on culture, the importance of it, and I guess like what you're doing to promote a great culture?
Well, thank you, Jimmy. And I love this topic. My number one topic, my number one strength, I believe, and you can even ask my business partner, Gino. This is my bailiwick. This is what I live for. Actually started writing a book. It'll take me a while to finish, but it's called Magnetic Culture. Because I'm all about that because it changed my career. It absolutely can change my career, like aligning yourself with the right people. But for me, I actually had to tell a little story because you're like, oh, does Don really believe it? Because it is a buzzword. How many of you
Right.
out there have been recruited and you'll love our culture? And then you go and join the company, you find out that's bullshit. Sorry, I
Right.
hate it. I'm going to use that technical term because it's not fair. And you want to be part of something you believe in and love and are excited about. And then you find out that the culture's not there. It's all just a word they use. It's signs around the office, but you got to live and breathe it. And Gina, who just came on, knows my story that I have to start off with because Gina was part of this story, because it was a change in our life and our career that at one point we've all worked with another technical term, assholes.
Asshole.
And, whether it's people in your office, people above you, or referral partners you work with. And I got to this stage in my career, after 20 something years being in the industry, and I finally said, I'm over it. I don't want to work with jerks anymore. It's not worth it. I'd rather quit than dealing with jerks that are on my team, jerks that are above me, or jerks that I feel I have to work with to get business.
Right.
And I literally at one point left the company we were at, and I said, I'm going to join a new company, and I want to do something fresh and new. And we're only going to work with cool people we love working with on our team, and cool people we like working with after the fact, that are referral partners. And I literally, Gina will laugh, but I literally had a fish tank in my hand, because I was leaving the office. The only thing I needed to take was really the fish tank and my computer. And basically I'm like, who's coming with me? Who's coming with me? And Gino, Don T, Steph, and Sue. There's 5 of us. We left and opened up our own shop. For at that time was Cherry Creek Mortgage, who gave us a shot at doing it our way, in an executive suite the size of what I'm sitting in here, with very loud, boisterous Gino in the office.
It was my
started.
selling voice, not my indoor voice. It was my selling voice.
Right.
Which is shouting.
So that was what, 2012, Gino?
2012, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just to give you some ideas that you can make a difference and you can change it. And then fast forward, just to add the credibility piece that we walk the walk, because you're like, yeah, everybody talks culture. Literally, as we built our region from 3 million a month, 3.6 million, Gino, something like that a month, to a $1.5 billion region doing 300 loans a month. And in that 10-year span, 12-year span, we only had 3 or 4 people total leave us. We're talking staff or LOs, and 2 of them came back. So we're about loving on our people, loving on our referral partners, loving on our team, so that they have no reason to leave. And of course, you have to give them infrastructure, and Gino can talk about that because he handles the infrastructure to give them no excuses to want to leave. But we believe in culture.
Well, and so I've been thinking a lot about this, and there's all the buzzword about talking about authenticity and social media, and just be yourself, and you'll attract the people you want to attract. And that was a true story for us. We really do. Just even this week, we've had moments of we're attracting the people we want to attract. I think that's super important.
Last night.
And that's what I'm saying. And then you repel those that you don't. And so if you're questioning whether you should do something or not, it's okay to rely on intuition. Not everything needs to be math and science, especially as it relates to people. And, even though Don's the one that's more consistent with giving people love. In fact, we call him Donnie Love Buckets, if you guys haven't gone over that before.
Not yet.
Yeah. So he's really good about giving people love, like, more frequently, like, sending little gifts or making little notes or sending them a hoorah email and stuff like that. I'm not that person. So you don't have to be a cheerleader. That's okay too. It doesn't mean you don't have culture, right? It just, so you could have a culture of excellence, right? So you can define culture however you want it, but culture just means that you have some non-negotiables. And the people that are in alignment with your non-negotiables are going to be part of building the culture that you want. And the culture is not just Don or I. Of course, leadership matters. They set the tone for the culture, but everybody's got to contribute. It's the group that is the representative of what the culture of a team is.
And that's one of the notes that I had. It takes a village, and I'm just going to read directly from this because I think this is exactly what it is. Everyone must believe in, support, and protect the culture. And I think as the leader, you have to have those non-negotiables. Like, you're being an asshole. No. Like, right. So talk about that. Like, what's an action item for somebody to, like, let's just say here, you're getting a whiff of someone's a jerk. How do you step in to right the path, like get them back into this is our culture? And is it like a one talk thing and one strike, you're out? Or is it like, look, this happened, it's not happening again? And I guess, how do you
it's not just encourage it? Because all of us make mistakes. All of us. God knows my wife would have divorced me a few times over. And our team would have divorced us. But because even we as leaders make mistakes, because we try things, we adapt, we and not all our ideas work and so forth. But it's funny, we have an advantage between Gio and I running our region is the fact that we actually get to divide and conquer, meaning we get to choose who's got the best relationship with that particular person, or depending on what
that could vary too.
Yeah. And based on the personality or the issue at that time. And it'd be, Gino, they're screwing up. It could be he's more of the operations side. They are turning in shit loans. This is on you, dude. And he'll go and instruct them. Hey, just this is not acceptable. And here's why it's not acceptable. And here's how it affects you and the rest of the team. It's not just, I don't like what you're doing and you're going to get fired for it. It's, let me explain to you how this devalues you as well as the team and how it affects all of us. And then if it's a personality thing, like someone's just being a jerk in general or not showing up to events and so forth, that's where Gina goes, Don, this one's yours. So it depends, but you got to be honest with them, completely honest. A lot of people want to beat around the bush or stick their head in the sand and not address it. We address it like that. We do not sit on it and let it fester and become a problem.
And then here's the most important part. Be willing to walk away from volume.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to walk away from it because it's toxic, right? If the only reason the person's on the team is because they have volume, it's absolutely toxic. And what it's doing, if it's hurting us as leaders, it's disrupting our ability to practice at highest and best use, it's actually holding us back. And so sometimes you have to get rid of that one person that's toxic to open the doors to all the people that you really want to join you. And the volume will replace itself. The volume will come. You have to walk away from volume. And it did.
And we walked the walk. We had to let go of our number one producer. It was a third of our production, just because it was time to separate ways at that time. That person's back and he's our bro. He just needed to grow and see what was on the outside because, of course, it was us. And then he went outside and he's like, oh, shit, you guys are awesome. These guys suck. I'm coming back.
But see, and some people just need that reset. And I've done. I think I've
Yes.
shared this with you guys that I fired my number one referral partner. She was a pain in the ass. She was absolutely terrible, and it was just like I can't do this anymore. And I remember having a meeting with her, firing her. We can't do this anymore, and walking away from that meeting ear to ear. You could not slap the smile off my face. But then she grew and ended up reaching back out to me, realizing that like here I wasn't like just some full of shit dude. I'm not going to accept this behavior.
Abuse.
I laid the groundwork, but then we can come back together down the road or not. But when we did come back together, she became my number one again. And I think that a lot of people can relate to that. But as far as leadership goes, I think it takes there I think that's a level higher of like faith that you're it's like discipline. It's like being a father, and I think it takes a level of faith that no, this is the standard. I'm going to uphold it, and because of that, it's going to make everybody better, but myself too.
Well, you owe it to everybody else too, because it's if you do accept as a leader, because it's really hard to, like Gino said, get rid of like a top producer. That's your P&L, baby. That could be your pocket book, and it could be dangerous. But you got to look at the rest of the team. Sometimes that toxic person affects everyone, and you think that they don't know it. That they don't know how toxic. They know, and it makes them go, wait a minute. You said you care about culture, but you accept this. That's contradictory to what you say you are. So you have to hold true to who you say you are and what you believe in and what you want in your region, your office, your team, your partners. It's all part of it. And once you hold that ground, like Gino said, non-negotiables, it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got to verbalize it. You've got to say those things. What is it that you're trying to attract and you want? Say that stuff out loud. Verbalize it to your team. Hey, this is a no drama zone.
Right.
Okay, this is no drama zone. So then it's really easy when someone's starting to bitch and whine or do something, be like, dude, it sounds totally like drama. Are we going to accomplish anything today? Like, are we trying to fix a problem, or you just want
do you have
bitch?
a solution, or you're just bitching?
Yeah. Now, if you just want to bitch and you just want to vent, that's okay too. Sometimes we just need that. Funny story on that. We had a third partner, Leslie Gardella, that we worked with for years. And one day I'm with Dawn and Leslie, and Leslie goes, Gino, you're just always so in such a good mood. You're never angry. She's like, how do you do it? And Dawn's
I'm on
like,
the other side
that's
going,
not true. He's like, I gotta listen to him. But that's
he just bitches to me.
That's our superpower, is that we have each other to bitch to, so we don't have to bitch to anybody else.
So I think we've talked a little bit about like how to cancel bad culture. How do you encourage good? And I mean, it's not just about, again, you mentioned it. It's not about signs in your office. Signs mean nothing. How are you loving on your people? How are you Donnie Love Buckets? And how are you known as that? And I guess what are like, if you're going to give like an actionable step, like, hey, make sure you do this. What should people do if they're a leader and they really want to encourage the good culture, not just block the bad, but encourage the good?
All right, I'll give a really easy bullet point for anyone, and Gina knows where I'm going to go because it works. So you work really hard to recruit somebody. It's the hardest thing in the world to get somebody to actually say yes to you versus the other 200, 300, whatever, thousands of companies out there. And you work hard to get them to believe in it. And then once they do, it's amazing how many companies, that honeymoon period ends like that, for one, but they also don't prep. I mean, the person who says yes still in their mind is going, I hope I made the right decision, though. Even though they made the decision, they still hope they made the right one because they just started. So make sure that their first impression is rock star, meaning letting them know that you're excited that they joined you and that they made the right decision, because that sets the tone for their mindset immediately. So when they come in the office, their desk is ready, their computer's ready, their printer's ready, their supplies are there, there's welcome signs, there's flowers if it's for the ladies, whatever it is, you make it a big deal. Everybody welcomes them. You send out an email, hey, welcome our new teammate. You introduce them at your next meeting, how excited you are. You make it a big deal that they joined your company, and right away they go, I made the right decision. So their mindset starts off high, as opposed to I'm going to look around and see if this is the right decision. But if you start off that way, right from the get-go, they believe it. So
And then
that's
guess
my
what happens?
first tip.
Then they come home and they share that with their significant other.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I had the greatest day. I showed up and they had this and they had that. And I'm so happy we did this. Right.
And
Because
nobody does that, by the way.
yeah.
Think about it.
The thing about you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. It's real true. It's really
I
true.
said that to him, Gino. That's funny,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And so
the love buckets,
Right.
just so you know, I would literally, for my branches, I'd send them a giant bucket with welcome signs, thank
like
you,
a
all kinds of
34-gallon
stuff.
tupper.
Yeah, tub with a welcome mat for them and all kinds of stuff to them so that they were prepared to welcome whatever new teammates they brought into the thing, because I don't want them having excuses, because they'll say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what, but if the bucket's ready to go, everybody gets a happy, first impression.
It's like a photo booth. Think of a
Yeah.
photo booth. He had like a photo booth box that he sent to
Yeah.
every one of our branches to make sure they all had the tools necessary to open. And so I do want to transition from that a little bit, because that is welcome on the first day and it's super critical and important. But then what do you do ongoing for the teammates that are already on your side? And I think it's really important to celebrate wins, celebrate the summer solstice, celebrate whatever the hell you love to celebrate football games and have watching parties. Do things like that and be engaged with your team. If you only see your team at work and you guys never play together, that's not it is
bonding.
a culture. It's a work hard culture, but it's not our type of culture. Like, we want to work hard, play hard. We want to have fun together, right? Like, we were lucky enough to go to a Dodger game last night together, and it was a great time. So I think it's celebrate is my tip. Celebrate wins, celebrate sports, celebrate friendship, celebrate whatever you can, whenever you can.
And to anybody that knows you guys or has hung out with you guys, you're known for that. You guys know how to celebrate.
Damn straight.
But I would say both things that you guys just mentioned, they're not revolutionary at all. I think everybody has heard this. I think it's difficult to set it up. Like you mentioned that first day. Man, I agree. You know what? I walked into a job one time. It was the first day, and I never showed back up again. I knew I made the wrong call.
How about that? Is when your computer's not even there. You can't even go to work. Nobody's helping you. There's
no
no system in place. Yeah.
But see, all that stuff does take diligent, organized work, which, generally speaking, a lot of us aren't that great at. Well, I'm sure you have Sonia doing something. I'm sure you have Katie doing something. I'm sure you guys have systems that are in place.
Has certain roles. Yeah.
But you set that up. It wasn't they figured it out. You guys set it up. No, we're going to have logins ready. The printer has to be set up, all this stuff. And I think that it just takes a little bit of discipline, not even that much. I feel like this is the right way. So, I mean, it's like, why don't people do this? But you're right. Nobody does this. But the people that do are the best in the business.
100%.
It's like an ounce of prevention is like pounds of cure.
Imagine,
they don't leave the first day.
Almost all companies, and you've been part of them, Jimmy. I know we have, where you go to a company and there's the in-house versus, the support team versus sales. Where they don't support me, they don't appreciate me. There's that little battle where, if you're really smart, you make them both understand that they need each other. Plain and simple. There is no one without the other. So you have to clarify why each side is important and why we're one team. So, like, for our example, a salesperson, we've all seen a salesperson belittle or degrade or abuse a staff member, a support team member. And we make it clear as day from day one that will never be acceptable. We ever see you abuse or treat our support team incorrectly, you will be the one to go, because you are easier to replace than they are. Trying to find a good underwriter, processor, LOA, support team member, they are gold. Look at what everybody looked for during refi. They stood up for us and made it happen. Whereas somebody that isn't good, they don't care. They're not going to go work those extra hours or make sure they do it right or treat your customers right. And then we let the support team know, hey, if the sales member is a little touchy, a little feisty, is stressed, it's because he's got a lot of people on his butt or her butt saying, we need to close now. We need to close early. We need that appraisal. And it's not them. they're just reacting to the pressures they're getting. So don't take it personal. Just
Or
support them.
they're transferring that pressure, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
they're just the pass-through entity, right? I'm
Yep.
being yelled at, so I'm going to yell at you. I mean, it's just people are human, right? They don't stop being human, but sometimes it just takes one of us to say, "Hey, man, not now, not here, not like this." And Don's favorite line, and I love it: "Good content, bad delivery." Right? So you got to be really careful with how you deliver things. So you could tell someone the worst news in the world, but if you deliver it well, they can accept it so much better because of the approach. So approach matters when having hard, difficult conversations.
Yeah, I even
All right,
made
guys, we're coming up.
somebody give me a hug, and then after I left, Gino knows the story, and he goes, I think he went up to my wife and goes, I think he just fired me. You do it right.
Absolutely. Well, we're coming up. We're at 20 minutes. I mean, just to summarize, and I'll have some closing words from both of you guys, but use your words. No assholes.
Mm-hmm.
No jerks.
That's
cool
the other book
people
we're writing,
only.
by the way. I'm not going to tell the title because Gino's getting pissed. He goes, someone's going to steal your title.
Cool people only. First impressions matter. Day one matters. And celebrate with your team. Gosh, this isn't even... None of this is revolutionary. None of it is revolutionary.
It works.
But wow. Okay. Closing words, and then we're going to sign off.
I'll go first. I think that you have to be engaged with your team in order to make this happen. It's very hard. And look, we're all living in a more remote world, so it's more difficult when you're not in person. So be cognizant of that and try to find a way to be together. Right. So bowling nights are super cheap. That's a good idea. Taco Tuesday at your office. Like, use those tools to do simple things. And just all you have to ask yourself is, how do I spend more time being human with my friends and not necessarily in a work relationship? That improves all work relationships.
100%. Good job, Gino. You're hired.
I like that.
We'll keep you.
Because I'm not in charge of culture doesn't mean I don't have any.
No. Well, you have to support it. Perfect example, Gino. You support it. If you didn't, we'd really in big trouble. I'll say two things, Jimmy. One is the other importance of getting the entire team together. So we've also seen the LO that's on the phone with an underwriter they don't really know. So it's really easy for them to pick on Mary, which is say, gosh darn it, get my stuff out. I told you said you'd have it done today. And she's like, well, you just got me the documents yesterday that I asked for you 2 weeks ago. You know, there's usually that whole storyline. I go,
Right.
but when they're all hanging out together and John the LO knows Mary the underwriter, it changes everything, because now you're like, Mary's really cool. She's a sweetheart and she means well. All of a sudden you feel like an asshole if you start jumping down Mary's throat. So you don't do that anymore, because now you're one team. You understand and know each other. So it's really important. And the other thing is Gino and I have learned is everybody has their own unique personality. You can't treat them all the same. I'm more guilty than that than Gino, because sometimes I want everybody to just be happy. I'm Mr. Always Happy. And Gino, like, cool the fluff, Don. Chill. They're sick of it, So I have to actually control my excitement, because everybody's like, nobody's like you, where you just wake up, yay, But everybody's different. And Gino does help me with it. He's like, hey, that person hates your fluff. Just be honest with them, direct with them, get the shit done. This person loves your fluff, So you gotta adjust to the personality of the person and their needs, because each one's different. God knows salespeople are very unique animals, but so are staff members. So you got to make sure that you get to know them and handle them accordingly.
Guys, this is jam-packed with great stuff. I loved every second of this call. And in signing off, this is Next Gen Leadership. This is for leaders and people that aspire to be leaders or just better at it. And hey, if you're watching this, write a comment. Let us know what you liked. And if you want us to go into something deeper, please just let us know. Type a comment. We'd love the engagement. And I want to thank Don and Gino for joining us. And we will see you guys.
Thank you, Jimmy. You're the man.